So last time I made a Lego puzzle box, you guys all asked me to send it to Chris Ramsey, but there were a few problems with the puzzle box, so I never ended up doing it. But today, I'm gonna give myself 3 hours to make a better level 10 Lego puzzle box, and see if I can solve it. So subscribe and enjoy.
So I guess all we have to do is just start the timer. So we have a 6x6 base plate, but I want to be a bit unique from last time. So I'm probably going to put something in the floor that I can hide, and that might do something later. So I still have no idea what I'm going to do, but usually I figure out as I go along. Okay, well let's try... No, actually wait, let's get rid of all that. Okay, so we're going to think about the main thing that we're going to do with this is, I really like the wheel idea from one of my old puzzle boxes because you can do so much with it. Okay, so there's our rough guide. Can you go? Alright, so now that we've got the bases, the next thing to do is, I want to get at least like 7 or 8 steps out of this, and we've got a few options. We can rotate, we can move in and out, we can use the holes in it, and that's pretty much it. So we need to figure out what to actually put on this axle and what it's going to do. Okay, so probably better to keep it in grey. Again, the prize will be a 1x2 money card. 1x4 seems about right. For the stop, I guess I will try to include stuff that's possible to discover, but also challenging. So the next thing to do is to figure out what this hole is actually going to be used for. Let's just put a 1x1 brick inside. When this gets pulled out, you can put something out. In fact, that means I would need to replace this with this. And if I use 2 of these put together, once these are pulled out from the bottom, I can put an axle or pin inside to use. So I'm going to put this in here, this here, this here. When it gets pulled out, you go like that. You can pull this part out. So, I mean, let's try it. Okay, so now that means this is hidden. It gets pulled downwards. Take this out. At some other point, put this in. Pull back upwards. And then this axle can be used to maybe push something out here. Here. This now. And another one of these. So you can just, why don't I replace this with this axle? Which means this is actually stuck for now. We should work on some mechanism that you pull this. I'm going to put a drawer here and then just a tile on top. Great, so it stops it from rotating. It'll get pushed in at some point. It'll get pulled back out for this, and it will get pulled out enough for this to rotate. So, okay, now we need to figure out the proper order. We can make it so that it has to come out in this direction. So once this pushes it in, we're going to be able to take this out. And so we need to be able to do something with this that this can't do. So, okay, so I'm going to replace this with half pin because I just honestly can't think of a way to do it. I need to make it a bit taller so that just extend this out a little bit. So I'm going to make this a little bit taller. Which means that this needs to be a little bit higher. There we go. So this is getting a bit tall, but should be okay. Okay, so now this will stop when it gets to here. Now notice you can also move this, so it's actually interesting. Wait. Okay, that's a very interesting idea. Put a 1x1 here to stop the axle from going too far. Then you can move this like that, and insert the axle here. Now once this moves over here, this can't move back up. Actually, I think we should put a drawer here. Okay, so here's another 1x4 plate. 1x4 plate. Close on it. Tile again. What we need to get is a red axle from this somehow. It actually fits. Okay, well that was pretty lucky. What if we blocked it off with like a circle? Like so. And when you pulled it out, okay, so you pushed it out and now you rotate it to the correct hole, just this hole. We'll see how that goes later. Put this. What we want to do is get just tight enough not to shake out, but loose enough so that it's easy to find. Now you can see it just nicely slides out. And now what we've got to do is start making the second layer. We've got quite a few steps already in here, which is great. Right here. Here. Then you can push this one. This here. When you move it, it will line up with something. And put this here. Okay, so now this gets moved up. So we can also put this there we go. So we have a little new layer, and I've done this before, but this is a simple tilt mechanism. We will put a little one of these claw pieces, a couple of 1x1 plate, and then a 1x6 tile. Puzzle box needs to be tilted upside down. Tile falls into this little slot. So I think that's it. As we still haven't prevented this piece from being able to be pushed in like so, which is definitely not a good thing. Okay, and now it's time to solve the cube. So you can see we have this wheel that can't rotate at all. We have a few little drawers up here that you can't really do much with. And we have this pretty obvious axle. So let's pretend that I'm new to this cube, but I'll also speed things up so that doesn't take like 15 hours. So step one is to pull this out. And at the same time, you can also pull this out. So now we can pull this out, and tilt or push this axle out, whichever one. So now we have these three pieces along with the main puzzle box. Now we can insert this axle into here and get this drawer out, and then move this piece over a little bit, about halfway. Now this piece can line up here, but we can't insert this just yet. So we need to turn this, insert it here, and then now we can push this in. However, we can't do anything with this drawer, it's stuck. So we're gonna solve the puzzle on the top, sliding these tiles across and sliding this tile across and inserting the axle, like so. Now we get this out. We can take this out if we want. The main thing is, now we can actually move this across. Now that we've moved that across, we can take this out, and that also means we can move this like that. And now we can see this red axle, so we can't line up to any other circle except this one. Then we can tilt our red axle out. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna try and get this half pin out. So I'm gonna put this red axle back in this drawer. We can't push it up now. We have to move this back. In order to do that, we can just insert this, but we need to also move this out of the way. So we push this to the side with this little red axle in. We can move this back up. Then we push this drawer back in. Now we can push this in and get the half pin out. Now that we have this half pin, we can insert it in here. Pull this drawer out. Now that we pull this drawer out, this piece becomes loose. This doesn't do anything, so you need to push it upwards. And then insert this piece once again and push that out. Now we can pull this out. Now we can pull this out. And we can't quite pull this out. We need to turn the box upside down to be able to pull this out. Pull this out. Now we get this bar piece. And the final step is we can insert this bar piece here. Actually, we can't insert this bar piece here. What we need to first do is to push this piece back out Now we can insert this bar piece, take the final piece out, and get the money.
Okay, so for the people who stuck around, thank you to all the members, and I might send this to Chris Ramsey if I think it's good enough. So subscribe.